And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Arena of Valor World Cup 2018 Bootcamp, powered by Axe. And of course, quite the rainy day that we're having here in the Philippines. Hopefully for those of you guys in other countries not having the same problem we're having right now. A lot of flooded areas. But of course, nonetheless, even with the weather conditions, we're still going to bring you all the AOV action live that's happening right now in Thailand. We are, of course, going to be your casters for today. I'm Arctic at your service. With me is Saya.
That's right. This is already the 5th day of the group stages right now, Arctic, and I'm really excited still on the games that we're going to see today.
And man, quite the... I mean, yesterday's games were very, what's the word I'm looking for? Insightful, I guess, because as we were talking about, a great way for the MSP region to get a feel of what's going on in the international, and pretty, just generally great performances from Chinese Taipei, Thailand, as well as China as well.
That's right, and we already got to see a little bit of gist of what can they do for today and actually for the World Cup, but I'm betting my hands on that's not just their trump cards just yet.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure there's a hell lot more they aren't showing, and because given bootcamp, of course, there's still the actual AWC that's going to be happening next month. So, you know, you want to use this as practice, but at the same time, you don't want to reveal too many cards here. But then again, because it could go both ways, actually. I mean, if you don't show your cards, then whatever you're testing in theory, you won't really get to try out until you're actually there at the AWC, and you're not even sure if that's actually going to work or whether it's going to backfire. Sure, you could do it through your private scrims, but unless you're scrimming against a team that's, let's say, not in the AWC, then it's a missed opportunity all the same. But let's go ahead and head into this next game here. It is going to be the Thailand wildcard versus the team from Europe. Let's get onto it.
That is right, and we can see from the banning phase here onto the blue side of the team, we have the Flash and Malak. Onto the team of Europe, we have an Aurum and a Superman. Not so much of a surprise right there, because from the previous days, we've already seen them as high priority picks or bans.
So this time around, though, I mean, we are seeing... I guess not really surprising anymore. I mean, the Flash Malak teaming, of course, sometimes gets through, sometimes doesn't, but I guess in this case, Thailand wildcard not going to be giving that opportunity to the team from Europe. And yeah, just pretty much standard bans. What has been kind of left open here so far, though, which has been, okay, I was about to bring up Omen, but other heroes that we have that are up in the air. Signal's definitely still up. I mean, with the Malak. Okay, there you go, of course.
There you go.
Better take, definitely, since the Malak was banned, so there's not really as many other options in terms of that semi-global to global presence.
Yeah, that's right. They are aware of how the signal can be, especially onto the game, especially when it comes to responding to the allies, especially when they need help. Most have help as well. And we can see here on Europe we have Lubu, but I'm not gonna finalize it just yet.
Yep.
But since, yeah, based on those bans and the current picks that we've just seen a while ago, it's not really a surprise anymore because we've been seeing them as, yeah, like what I mentioned earlier, the high priority picks and bans, but still different when it comes to execution into the game.
So, yeah, we'll just have to find out in a teeny tiny bit once we head on back into the drafting. So, just a few minor glitches, but no worries. We'll be getting into it in just a jiffy. And there you have it. See, told you.
Like magic it is. Let's see, we have a Wonder Woman here on the side of Europe, and we have my lovely, lovely Liliana and an Alice at that. Ooh, looks like I'll be seeing a senior Alice right here. It's a pretty long time since I've seen them together. And ooh, we see a Tulin for the Europe here, but I'm not... Are they going to lock that in? Well, I also know that Tulin's potential is really good in here. Ooh, alongside with the Joker at that, more DPS potential and poking abilities for Team Europe right here. Looks like I'm pretty sure that Team Thailand is going to have another DPS onto their hands right here. I'm not sure if they're going to have Violet here, but I'm pretty sure it's open since it's open right now, because Violet also has that good potential to actually jungle onto the early game, but it's very, very essential onto late game, which they can already protect as well.
So far, though, I mean, I'm wondering how they're going to wrap this up. Okay, so that's definitely something that I would love to see from Thailand Thailand wildcard, something that has a little bit more reliable damage, just because they've already locked in a Senior and an Alice, which is going to be much more leaning towards the utility. Not to mention Senior himself a little bit more on the beefier side. So complementing this with two heroes that grant physical damage, I'd say that's definitely a good takeoff. But meanwhile, Europe has other plans, because from what they've drafted so far, I mean, just damage across the board. And if they're going to lock in this Zephys, then they're definitely going to want to overwhelm the Thailand wildcard, in which point probably will be a little bit trickier at the initial start, just because Thailand wildcard has the Signal, has the Alice, so they definitely have that extra utility. But if they actually manage to get a snowball, or at least transition to later parts, then that damage is just going to be way too overwhelming for the Thailand wildcard.
That's right. But on the other side, here on Team Europe, if they get a little bit of two-fed or well-itemized onto the mid-late game, it's going to be a problem for Team Thailand right here, because considering the fact that Lubu and Zephys can survive in skirmish fights or even 1v1 right here, and the Lasso of Truth done by Wonder Woman for good initiation for team fights, it's quite amazing as well. So I'm really excited, because both team compositions are I'm quite in awe with both sides, and it's really amazing that even though it's not a surprise for us with the pickings, it's still nice to see that different playstyles that they're going to execute later on.
So with those compositions locked down for both sides, let us know, of course, for those of you that are watching our live stream right now, what your thoughts are. Of course, since we're on the Valiant server, we don't really get as much insight on some of the heroes that aren't out in MSP just yet. But of course, great to get feedback, of course, from our viewers that do have experience for themselves firsthand, just how these heroes maneuvered. I mean, because reading about these heroes can only get you so far in our case, and just seeing what we can in game. But there you have it, guys. Looks like we'll be heading into game one of our best of three between, once again, this is the Thailand wildcard versus the team from Europe. Let's go ahead and see who will conquer this.
That is correct. So far, we can still see the grouping up together onto the mid lane right over here. Early poking. Well done by Team Thailand.
Oh, man. Meanwhile, looks like Team Europe going to go for a nifty invade onto the side of the Thailand wildcard. But looks like Grizzly Q going to try to defend against three members of Thailand, going for an exchange. But looks like he's going to find himself in a tricky situation as he gets taken down. First blood going to go to the Thailand wildcard.
And it's still the early seconds of the game. Not even a minute has passed just yet. That was a good execution done by Team Thailand right there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we can see right here on the top side of the lane, not so much of an engagement right there, just a little bit of pokey-dokleys right here and there. And Liliana being here, so very sexy as always. Joker being sneaky-peeky as usual. But that damage though, even though in the early game, is quite a hinge and probably a bit of danger, especially when there's Respo that's gonna come on their way. So I think they have to watch out for that.
Yeah, meanwhile, though, Thailand wildcard definitely making better work of this game so far. I mean, if you're going to look at it, just purely off, okay, it looks like Europe really wanting in on to defend their camps. But, of course, Thailand just going to prove to push the pressure constantly. A bit of a transition here towards the mid lane. Going to let that wave shove in, probably to eventually transition to a Spirit Sentinel. Or, okay, it looks like they have other plans to try to get control over the campsite of Europe first off before transitioning. So there you have it.
Yeah, that's right. And you mentioned the Spirit Sentinel being golden as a bonus, but it looks like we're going to have an invasion right here.
Yeah, looks like they're not going to give up Spirit Sentinel that easy. Europe finding an opportunity, but that's going to be Taos going in with a heal from the Seniel. Great move there, and they're going to manage to take down the Zephys and Exade Simjo. Just one casualty from the side of Europe, but I'd definitely say that's another victory under the belt of Thailand wildcard in this game.
I like the way that Thailand has that good reflexes and good reflective actions that can actually help them, and especially when their comrades are in needed with aid. And it's really nice because they're very responsive to that. And of course here, Abyssal Dragon is up for grabs because there are already three Thailand people on the Abyssal Dragon side.
True.
And we'll see if Team Europe is going to contest that, because I can see Joker right here trying to sneaky peeky. Nah, I don't think so.
Well, you know what? If Thailand wildcard secures this, and Europe has been, because Europe, regardless, has been pretty slow throughout this initial phase. If anything, they've been allowing the Thailand wildcard dictate the pace of these early 3 minutes. And as a result, Thailand Wildcard has been getting dibs on a lot more of these objectives, and not to mention camps as well. Meanwhile, Simcho going to go straight in onto Romeo, but the rest of Thailand Wildcard are fast in on the response. All 5 members are going to go straight in. The rest of the European squad, they have to back away. Grizzly easily gets taken down. It looks like Thailand Wildcard, they're going to reward themselves by going for the Abyssal Dragon.
Indeed, and this is the good part that you were mentioning a while ago about having a senior into a team, because great responsive, and it's very essential as well, especially when it comes to team fights that we just witnessed just now.
Yeah, and this is starting to become a tall order for Europe to deal with. I mean, the positive here is that the team fights haven't been as bloody wherein they lose out on a lot of casualties. But the thing here is yet another pick off. There you go. But the thing is, for the Thailand wildcard, just this slow build-up could mean the biggest difference in the later parts, because in effect, Europe's going to have a lot of trouble looking for their sex in exchange, just because all these sets have been pretty darn good for Thailand wildcard, not so much for Europe, because like I mentioned, they've been more responsive, which is why they're not able to get these sets themselves.
That is correct. And if you would notice as well on Team Europe side, if they get that good opening with that come together, I think they could still catch up onto what they're missing right now. But so far we can see that they're already split up onto the top and bottom sides of the lane, which makes it difficult for Team Europe to actually find that kind of opening, since that's the best way to use to utilize the kit that they have right now.
Yeah, but man, okay, so it looks like Memorize gonna try to go for something there. No, just gonna take the longer way back into lane. I mean, the good thing for Europe, though, in all fairness to them, is that even though Thailand Wildcard has been winning most of the skirmishes, they haven't really been able to translate them to first-tier turrets just yet from the European team. So that's something that EU is definitely, at least that's something that they can work with in exchange, because like I mentioned, what they ideally want to do is try to amp up into the later parts of this game, just so that their damage is just way too overwhelming for the Thailand wildcard to deal with.
Yes,
even
and you did mention a while ago the slowly but surely face of Team Thailand here, slowly distancing the gap. And if they did that so very often, they will eventually have more map control into here. Like what I'm mentioning right now, you can see that there was a... like I mentioned, Lid is good with the free hit right there.
They take a turret, they take another life from the European squad. This is becoming really tricky for EU to do. And this is what I was talking about earlier. The salvation for Europe was they weren't losing out on any turrets, but just like that, the pace of this game has been getting all the more harder for them. Now that the Thailand wildcard has taken all their first tiers down, thus granting the Thai squad all the more reach into the side of the European jungle.
That's right. So far we can see here that Team Europe is going onto the top side of the lane, but so far there are no engagements, just a little bit of pokies, but so far no engagement. This is a good opportunity for Team Thailand to actually go for Abyssal Dragon, which is, they're already taking it right now with Lindis and Ryoma onto their way to get it.
Yep, looks like they're making good work so far. But man, all these objectives, Abyssal, Spirit Sentinels, turrets, it's basically been Thailand wildcard having a fiesta of the European squad in a way wherein it's actually EU that's gonna be the spoils of war, but so that's gonna have to be Simcho. Luckily survives with a slither of health, but then again, this allows Thailand wildcard to take yet another turret. This is becoming tragic in a way. EU, they need to find a way to respond to Thailand wildcard's constant proactivity. Otherwise, I kind of worried for them in the state of this game.
Yes, that's right. This is actually beyond a snowball effect for Team Thailand right here. Meanwhile, my lovely Liliana right here, good with poking abilities right here. She's not hesitating to actually use her kit that she has right now, because if you noticed a while ago, her poking abilities are giving quite the pressure for Team Europe back there. But not just Liliana, but all the allies and the allies of Liliana right there. We can see here now Team Europe is quite pressured onto the mid side of the lane, but manages to defend it quite a bit. But Team Thailand right here is already split pushing the top side of Europe's lane.
Yes, and just like that, looks like they want to go for all the more here. We have a split 4-0-1 across lanes, but then again, very much understandable because the Seniors could just easily respond with his ultimate should Thailand wildcard start an engage on the EU squad. And thing here, EU, they're mostly defensive at this point, but they're having a tricky time fending off the Thailand wildcard, which is just constantly starting to bring the drought to them.
Yes, that is correct. You got there, Arctic, and you can see right now that the Thailand already has more map control than
True.
ever because, but like you mentioned a while ago, the slow pace is already coming into a fast track for Team Thailand right here.
Yeah, and that's going to be Rez getting picked off. Yautza, just way too much for him to deal with. Going to get taken down, and I think it's safe to say Thai squad could easily close out on this game. If anything, EU, what they want to think about is how they're going to go about the next one, because this has definitely been way too much for them to deal with. Just too much of a fiasco. And there you go, yet another takedown. Memorize will be going down there. EU trying to the last breath. They fight it off, but that will end with Team Thailand wildcard taking game 1 for this best of 3.
That is right. Congratulations for Team Thailand wildcard right there. And if you just saw the damage that's been dealt by Team Thailand a while ago, I mean, it's really understandable that Team Europe had that difficulty on how to defend their core because, hey, they already took control of the map. They had more gold on their count, and it's really understandable that Europe had that hard time to defend, and unfortunate loss for them. But we still have the second match right here. I'm pretty sure that Team Europe is gonna go for another go right there, because, hey, no one's gonna go down without a fight, right?
Yeah, and what I'd really like to see from EU is probably go about a different draft, because what they went for, like I mentioned, they ideally want to get an earlier snowball, or at least allow themselves enough time to transition in later parts of the game wherein their damage starts becoming really relevant, really overwhelming for the Thailand wildcard to deal with. But the thing is, it's mostly been the Thai squad dictating the entire pace of that game, and if you look at the stats right here, they pretty much speak for himself. 8-0, not even a single takeoff from Europe in exchange, so very, very unfortunate.
Yes, unfortunate indeed. But if you notice the kit of Europe right now, it's actually well-rounded. It's a nice kit, although they weren't able to maximize and utilize that kit so much into their favor because, like what I mentioned, I think this kit is more onto the grouping up and kind of engaging kind of team fights. So I guess they weren't able to find that kind of team play that they were expecting it to be.
Right, and I think it's such a missed opportunity because they have heroes like the Zephyrus, like the Lubu. If they at least wanted to keep head-to-head against the Thai squad, maybe look for potential pickoffs, but that wasn't really the case. If anything, like I mentioned, they've been mostly responsive to what the Thai wildcard was doing, and that's not necessarily the most optimal thing. So hopefully we see something better for them. And I think a tricky thing here is that since the Malak was banned and EU leaving the signal open, definitely just made it all the more trickier for them to deal with the team fights because Taos was just made for an easy response constantly.
Yeah, you got that right. I mean, you saw the signal a while ago, like to and fro around the area of the map. I mean, it's very nice. I mean, it's no questions asked. Once the signal's open, it's already locked in, especially in this kind of meta.
So there you have it, guys. That was just game 1. Man, I'm wondering how these games are gonna go as the evening goes by.
Yes,
because definitely different from yesterday.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm also wondering how the our local servers think right now. They probably think that it's quite unfair since we're a bit of a little delay. But don't worry, guys. This is why we have the boot camp right here. We're giving you highlights onto the new heroes that we don't have yet. But don't worry, they're gonna be released pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm really hoping to get Rourke and Aram on our server eventually. But there you have it, guys. That was just game 1. When we come back, we'll just have to see if the European squad can keep their composure and try to at least make a comeback and equal the scoreboard 1-1. Who knows? But Thailand wildcard, very convincing performance. We might be seeing a 2-0 in the series. For the meantime, we've been Arctic and Seiya. Stay tuned for the next match. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Arena of Valor World Cup 2018 Bootcamp, presented to you by Axe. Of course, we are your casters for this game. Arctic at your service. And of course, with me is Seiya.
That is correct. And wow, that was a very intense game a while ago. I mean, I was kind of a bit shocked because Europe wasn't able to get kills back there, but I'm pretty sure that they're gonna have a lesson learned right there, and I'm pretty sure also that they're gonna change their picks today.
I hope so. I'd like to see probably if the EU squad couldn't really play a composition that needs to look for the pickoffs, needs to try to scale up just so that their damage is all the more painful, then maybe go for a change of pace, something that's a little bit more early game dominant, and wherein they really need to function as a team. Because like I mentioned, for this boot camp, sure, you probably don't want to flex some muscles, show what you're made of, but I think the smarter move is to take advantage of the opportunity to learn from the experience, just so that you could gauge where you're at as a team against the other regions. So I really think they should play it a little bit more, not experimental, but use the matches as a way to just establish synergy all the more better.
That's right. Also, since they're going for team compositions, they also have to be aware of how to utilize and use the kits that they're going to have. I mean, if it's good for engaging in skirmish types of battles only, or if it's good for a 1v1, or maybe it's the best if they're going for an all-out type of team play right there. But I'm really excited here. Now let's go on to the drafting phase.
Yes, so there you have it. We're going to be heading into what is now game number 2 between EU versus Thailand wildcard. Of course, Thailand wildcard in a very convincing fashion earlier won the first game. They are leading the fray right now. Let's go ahead and check out these bans here. Teamy Omen as well as the Aram going to be taken off the board from Thailand wildcard. Meanwhile, Maluk, Lubu, as well as... Okay, we're waiting for that last ban there. So, still trying to think it over. Probably maybe Sinil, maybe Superman, because Superman actually have to take note.
Yeah, it's open right now.
There's way too many options, but
Joker.
Man!
So that means we will see DC heroes right here, open and up for grabs. But if you notice as well that the Sinio is also open as well. So this is very shocking because this is like the first game that I'll be seeing the complete DC heroes open up. And there you have it, Superman as the first pick for Team Europe.
Oh man, finally. But I'm wondering, because the Thailand wildcard didn't ban it out, because Joker isn't usually something that you see banned out as much either. So I think Thailand wildcard is taking advantage of this opportunity to practice composition, or at least how they go about needing to counter a Superman if ever he is left available open.
I agree with you on that, but into my opinion, that this is like the game that I've seen that Joker is priority as ban right here, and we can see Wonder Woman being initially picked right here as well with Ryoma. Well, so far the performances of Ryoma from the past few games is very explicit. I mean, you can see and recognize it as such. And let's see if they're going to lock that out. Yes, sir.
Wow. So again, looks like EU gonna stick with a lot of firepower to their composition right off the bat. Thailand wildcard definitely taking the safer route once again with the Alice and Sinyo, but even though they're safe, they definitely pack quite the punch in terms of what support they bring to the table for their key carries. Still waiting for those other two picks. I'm thinking that they're probably gonna go for a similar composition to what they played earlier, but we'll just have to see.
Yes, that is correct. And if you notice from the previous days as well, that Team Thailand is going for a well-rounded and safe with a little bit of supports right there, because I think they just want to balance that team composition out. I mean, they want that damage, but at the same time, they want the support that they need. And we see right here a Zephys and a Flash, just what I was about to say a while ago.
Oh man, the Flash. There was a lot left open for this particular game, hasn't it? But I'm loving this draft coming in from the Thailand wildcard so far. By having that Alice and the Seal, definitely puts a lot more... there's less risk running the Flash here. But interesting enough, I wouldn't get your hopes up yet, Seiya. We are seeing a hover over the Pena for this game.
I do not want to be duped, so I'll just going to say
take a breather for now.
Yes, it's initially picked, but yeah, I'm going to agree with you with regards to the composition of Team Thailand here, because I mentioned a while ago that they want that damage, but at the same time they want the support, and it's a very good choice of pick on picking the Flash and Zephys, because other than the fact that the Flash has good initiating skills. Alongside with Zephyr's kit as well, it's going to be a pretty rounded team composition right there.
Right.
Meanwhile, on Team Europe here, we have a Lumber and a Liliana. Ooh, I'm seeing frequent plays of Liliana right here. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited on how this is going to turn out.
Wow, interesting though. Thailand Wildcard gonna shake it up a bit with the Slims. Overall, what I like about the Thai Wildcard squad is they have a lot of speed, they have a lot of maneuverability should they lock in that Slims, and there you go. So the Flash and Slims, because these are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very...
Compatible?
Mobile.
Yeah, mobile.
heroes, in a way. But of course, the tricky part here is once they get locked down, they wouldn't really last as long, especially given the nature of the European composition. Once again, what I like as an adjustment though to EU is not only did they get a power pick in the form of the Superman, but they also have that Lumber as a contingency in a way just to have a proper set to complement that damage.
And if they use that properly, they will be having that upper hand when it comes to team fights as well. But in here in Team Thailand though, it's pretty sure we can see a Slims right here, so I'm thinking that in every team play, Europe is going to get that Slims as high priority to be targeted first. But I'm really excited to see how this is going up, because once the Slims right here gets too fed and well-rounded into the game, it's going to be pretty dangerous and a threat to Team Europe.
Yeah, not to mention, they have a lot of ways they could make plays across the map, and in a way it matches what roam potential the Superman has as well. Probably not as strong as the Superman, of course, but then again, I mean, two heads are better than one, in which case in the form of the Slims and the Flash to kind of pan that out against the Superman. But ladies and gents, looks like we're going to be heading into our second game for the first match of day 5 already, if I'm not mistaken.
Day.
Yep, we're already on day 5. Man, what a number of days we've had for this bootcamp, haven't we? Definitely a great experience for all our players in Thailand right now. But of course, once again, EU versus Thailand wildcard. Let's see if Thailand wildcard can take it all the way 2-0, or will Europe upset into a third game 1-1.
That is correct. So far, we can see both sides of the team going for each other's Might Golem right here, which is a good start for both sides of the teams. And we can see an early engagement coming from the Superman over to the Senior right there.
Yeah, they really want in on the action. But so far, I mean, just the standard trade-off that we see opposite sides of the jungle, just the standard invasions, but nonetheless, nobody really seeking out each other so far. They're just going to take a little bit of a slower pace in a way, just make sure that they farm up first. But then again, probably the bonus would be if they could get the pick-offs, but I highly doubt that considering the rotations for both sides here, wherein they're not really encountering each other.
That is correct. And if you notice that both sides of the teams are not being aggressive as they were onto the first minutes of the game, on the game 1 a while ago. But I also noticed just now that the Slims was chosen, right? I also just realized right now that the Lindis, the Violet was open a while ago as well. It can also be a good potential marksman for the kit that Team Thailand had, but like what you mentioned a while ago with in synergy of the Flash and the Slims, I would really like to see that. But so far there are no engagements right here, but Team Europe right here coming up onto the top side of the lane.
Oh man, looks like there's going to be some funny business. Looks like they're just going to contend for this small, minute camp. But we'll just break into a full-on team fight though, because in terms of terrain, Thailand wildcard definitely has better things working for them just because they're nearer their own turret. Looks like Spirit Sentinel will potentially be taken by EU. Will Thailand wildcard contest this? Okay, so KSSA tries to go for it, but Europe just going to take it quite comfortably. Still looking equal between both sides here.
So far, it's already 2 minutes onto the game, and we still see no first blood. But onto the middle side of the lane, we see a little bit of poking abilities coming from the Flash. A little bit of knock-up from the Lumber here. Was caught. Ooh, but due to that skill, it was invulnerable that made him survive that long.
Yeah, it looks like Thailand wildcard gonna look to re-engage, and just like that, Jirui, the Speedsa makes his way through, and that is gonna be the doing of him. That's undoing, rather. That's gonna be his undoing. A little bit too over-aggressive there.
Yes, if he would just have to back away back there, he would have survived, because he already survived when he used his tornado back there, but unfortunately, it was a little bit of a pokey from Ryoma back there that led to
Yep.
his death.
Got
Which,
locked down and just way too much for him to deal with. I have to agree with you. Just probably should have gone back already. Just play the safer route there. But then again, that's just one casualty so far. You got to look at the goal difference. Still doesn't really hurt him as much, but it looks like we're having a team fight for the Abyssal Dragon here. It's actually the Thailand wildcard that manages to secure it. Romeo keeping the rest of the EU squad at bay, but that's a beautiful set coming in from the Lumber. Great hold. It's actually Romeo that might get locked down. Drui going to speed his way through and actually help supplement the takedowns on the EU squad. It's Grizzly Q that falls first. Are they going to try to go for more? It looks like both sides will call it quits for now as Thailand wildcard gets Abyssal, gets one kill. I'd say they're one up there.
that is correct. And I like the way that Team Thailand sneaky the Abyssal Dragon by putting it onto the side.
Yeah.
So that Team Europe would not see or have a lesser vision of the Abyssal Dragon back there.
Yeah, I wouldn't really estimate like where the health bar on Abyssal was at during the time. So easily puts Thailand wildcard. Whatever pickoff Europe got on Drui's over-aggressive movement on the flash earlier, I guess it pretty much balanced out this time.
Yes, it compensated what he
Yeah.
had that slight of a flaw. I think he already learned his lesson back there. I'm pretty sure. But so far we can still see the Liliana Lumber going in together from the very first minutes of the game up to now. I think they're trying to go for a safe play here, waiting for a good opening. And we can still see here they're going for the Sentinel for a little bit of a bonus here. Alice a little bit too late to get that steal.
Yeah, but looks like EU, they have other plans. They're going to try to go for a full collapse here towards the top side. Great hissy fit coming in from KSSA to prevent EU from going full on commit on their turret. That's going to be Tao's going to get a heal onto KSSA, and looks like Thailand wildcard, great defense set up towards the top side, and this gives opportunity for the rest of the Thai wildcard to take down this mid turret.
Good defensive angels coming from Team Thailand right there, but Senior was unfortunately slain by Team Europe back there.
That was way too much time that the European team took towards the top side, and as a result, what did they trade it off? That one Senior for two turrets in the mid lane. That is definitely not a good deal.
Not worth it for Team Europe back there, but we can still see here Zephys going in for the Superman, but quickly escapes away.
Yeah, just gonna make a sweet escape right there. But man, Thailand wildcard definitely starting to build up on their own gold lead slowly in terms of what value they've been getting amidst these trade off. But looks like EU, they're going to respond in their own form by taking a clean Abyssal Dragon. But take note of the pressure that the rest of the red team has been pushing out off a great constant shove coming in from the mid lane. Not to mention, Sinyo slowly gearing his way towards this upper turret.
Looks like Superman's gonna have a hard time here because there are more members of Team Thailand here than him. It's going to be like, ooh, Superman pushes it inside of the tower.
Yeah,
but of course, there's the comrades on their way to save the day.
Yeah, great takedown right there. Good juggle of turret damage as well coming in from the Thai wildcard. Not only did they get the turret, of course, the added bonus was they were able to take down the Superman as well. So that was definitely an unfortunate defense that the European squad wasn't able to mount in a strong manner.
And that lasso of truth coming from the Wonder Woman over there wasn't able to get caught. And we can see here Zephys trying to knock up the Wonder Woman a while ago, but manages to escape right now. And I like that thought where a while ago onto the top side of the lane, they already know that they already had what they got, and then they decided to actually back away because they knew that Team Europe is going there onto the top side of the lane. And backing out early is a good sign for Team Thailand right there.
I'd have to agree with you there, Saya. And so far from what I'm seeing here, EOK trying to look for these pickoffs, but haven't quite succeeded. Like I mentioned, these are very slippery targets that they're looking at in the middle lane. Both the Flash as well as the Slims. Romeo tries to go in, might have to back away there, my friend. Looks like we're quite on the same page, but no harm done.
Yes, that is correct. We are currently seeing, if you noticed a while ago, that Team Europe wasn't able to get good team fights that they were expecting for right here. And with that, Team Thailand is quite confident enough to already wait for an opening here onto the mid lane right here. If you can see that, they're just waiting there. The waiting game is real for Team Thailand here as they hope for a good team fight.
Maybe, just maybe. But then again, EU definitely making sure that that wave
Ooh.
doesn't push in too far, but great skill shot coming in from Crit to lock down the Lumber, and it's going to be Drewy that speeds his way through for the kill once again.
That was a very good stun done by Slims right there, which gave Team Thailand more opportunity to actually get the Abyssal Dragon, but not quite yet because they're already engaging right here on the mid lane. Ooh, I stand corrected. They're already taking the Abyssal Dragon right now.
Yeah, again, it's such a shame though. EU tries to go for the steal, won't be succeeding though. Numbers are looking in their favor. Tries to go for a Kit, gets off, bounces off of the wall. Rez manages to snipe him down though. KSA might be the next target here, but that's going to be the flash going in for the respawns after taking down Simjo. Trying to go for Rez. Rez trying to build up stacks so that he could speed his way out of there. Meanwhile, tries to go for KSA. Not enough damage though. Here's going to be the full collapse. Unfortunately for KSA though, gets taken down in Rez. Wow, that was a great escape.
Europe finally aware of who to take down first. A good job done by Superman because he prioritizes the squishier members of Team Thailand back there. So it was kind of worth it because he's still alive right here, going onto the top side of the lane, going back to his base.
That is the power of the Superman. Sure, even though Europe's playing a tad bit behind right now in 2,000 gold, still you can't discount the fact that this is exactly why the Superman is banned. Even though Europe might be playing a little bit slower than the proactivity that Thailand wildcard is showing here. Just when you think you can try to get the Superman, makes a clean escape like that, takes a kill for himself as an added bonus. So all's fair.
That is correct. But so far, other than that amazing performance done by Superman, we don't see any skirmish fights that is initiated from Team Europe right here, because I've been seeing that Team Thailand is doing more of the initiating.
Right, and man, oh man. Team Thailand though, they have been slowing down a tad bit. Haven't really been able to look for the same opportunities that they did around 3 to 4 minutes ago. So I think it's taken a little bit more of a slower pace. Looks like they're going to make good work of this turtle. Look at how fast that went down. And that's just the power of a Slims.
Yes, and of course numbers matter as well. I mean, the Slims wouldn't be able to confidently go into that tower without the mere aid of his friends right there. So far, Thailand successfully getting the pressure, but and the Superman right here going, engaging for the Zephys. Xenial responding to his old friend Comrade right here, but here comes Team Thailand to the rescue.
Yes, Team Thailand gonna go straight for Rez here, gonna want to take down that peskier target in the form of the Superman. They actually succeed, and not a bad rotation. The stars align for them because by the Superman walking towards the upper side easily grants Thailand wildcard the opportunity to make an easy go for the Dark Slayer.
And a more pressure onto Team Europe back there. Wonder Woman tries to split push or shove away the minions right here, but Zephys going for a one-on-one between Wonder Woman right here, and is successfully dealing that tons of damage.
Ooh.
And Wonder Woman going for Lasso of Truth. Zephys successfully slaying Wonder Woman right
No, definitely can't make an escape there. When you're trying to run for a Zephys and a Flash, you need a hope and a prayer, my friend. But nonetheless, this is starting to build. In all fairness to Team Europe, though, they definitely were able to show a better first few minutes in this game. It's just that, again, Thailand wildcard, they're definitely quicker on their feet in terms of their decision making, in terms of what rotations they need to make across the map, just so that they can have a better leg up in terms of control over objectives, not to mention the pickoffs that they managed to take off. So overall, just very, very well played in terms of forethought.
That is correct, and this simple mispositionings can lead to very fatal outcomes right here, like what the Wonder Woman has done a while ago. We can see a flash right here, right now.
Looks like Thailand wildcard, they're just gonna overwhelm the European squad, knowing full well could have gone for that dive, go for the finish here. Gonna wait. Okay, they're gonna take it a little bit more systematic. They're not gonna force to go for the core. Shurko, the only member up, though, I believe they could have just gone for the finish, but it looks like they just want to play a bit more safer. You know, no need to waste too much time. Yeah, no need to rush.
Yes, that's correct. They're actually waiting for the wave of minions to go there so that they can actually have that sure core getting right there.
Yep, and looks like they're going to go for Shurko, manages to dash his way out of there, but that goes to say, Thailand wildcard going to have a dominating performance in this match, 2-0, taking it against the European squad. Well played.
GGWP indeed.
Yes.
This is what I was talking about when utilizing your kits and being aware on how to use them. I mean, Team Europe had a good kit for, I think, mostly on the group team fights right here.
Yes.
But so far, we don't see any clumped up together happening from Team Europe right there. And also, knowing the fact that Team Thailand was a good initiating right
Yep.
there on either sides of the lane, and it was a successful victory for them as well.
Man, oh man, very well. But okay, let's go ahead and break down what happened there in that game because, like I mentioned, EU was able to roll with the punches within the first 3 minutes. They were able to get pickoffs of their own. It's just that, again, we reached a point in the game wherein, even though they pushed for a stronger pace, they were just pretty much outclassed by the Thailand wild card right there. Like I mentioned, Thailand wild card had better proactivity in having better control over objectives. Not to mention, they were quick on their feet in terms of pickoffs. And the moments that the European squad tried to get pickoffs of their own, weren't the best targets that they went for because the Thailand wild card squad had a faster response as well. So let's go ahead and check out these stats here.
That is true. And I also like that Superman. I mean, I want to acknowledge that Superman because he know the first targets to go on his own. Even though it was in numbers, it wasn't
Right.
into his favor. He knew the squishy targets. He knew how to like get them into his favor and running away with his kills.
So, man, oh man, Thailand wildcard. In all fairness, though, pretty great showing in the game. And this is the wildcard team. You have to take note, like what more the main team from what we've been seeing in previous days. So, man, so I think at the end of the day, though, you have to think about what we've been talking about. We're in some of these regions that are kind of behind in terms of patches, what heroes are released. Great testing ground for them. Here in the boot camp, I think it's pretty much understandable that they'd have a trickier time, but hopefully come the actual AWC next month, that's 1 month of preparation that they have, so hopefully they have better showing by then, but just take advantage of the opportunity that they have through this boot camp. So that was it, ladies and gentlemen. That was our first match for the day. We still have a second match coming up, but we're going to be taking a quick break for now. We have been your casters, Arctic Cat. With me is the lovely Saya. Catch you guys for the next match here at the Arena of Valor World Cup 2018 Boot Camp, powered by Axe.